Hell, SNA assassinators. I don't know what happened to that second clip video. Like it just cut out like the last one, but worse. Like 10 minutes before the first one did. But no matter. I made a third clip video. Hopefully this lasts for at least for a little while until I get done with this video. But anyway, this is where we got Juice Robinson was back in the offense side, but until and Juice Robinson, I believe, trying to fly up on the top rope. No, Hangman on the page hit a fallaway slam. Once he tried to go across, but he hit him back first and slam, stiff landed him right onto the lower back, and that fallaway slam by Hangman on the page. That's where Hangman on the page did not. That's where then he hits him. Yeah, this is where he tried to get Juice Robinson right back up. He was through playing around. This is where he then tried to go for an avalanche suplex right off the top rope, and this is where then we. But this is where Juice Robinson tried to sunset flip out of it, let him know that he got given up, like, and especially not the Hangman, but this is where he tried to go for it. But this is where we got Hangman Page kicks out of it at the last tick of 2.999. This is where the Juice Robinson tried to hit him with his Juice's Loose maneuver. This is where Hangman Page counter out of it, try to hit a dead eye, but this is where we got Juice Robinson counter, try to go for a German suplex. But this is where he distracted Aubrey Edwards by pulling onto her. It's where then he low blowed Juice Robinson, so she wouldn't see it. This is where Hangman Page went right to the left side, hits the buckshot lariat for the 1-2-3. Winner of this match, Hangman on the page. This match was totally great, but you probably thought this would probably get the third or fourth place spot, to be honest, but it really got the second place. For me, got the silver award. But yeah, this is where he was not done yet. Right after he started arguing with Edwards about something, like he has to be like trying to be the most hated wrestler of the year, trying to get that award over many names, including like Drew McIntyre and Liv Morgan being the couple out of the list. But this is where the Hangman Page are continuing to beat up what's his name, like even though he just won, he's still trying to he still haven't felt satisfied, like until he went right on top of Juice Robinson, started beating him down for no reason in post match. That's when he started trying to choke him with his own belt until luckily Juice Robinson's teammate of the Bang Bang Gang then came out there, because I totally forgot the Hangman on the Page attacked the Guns. I totally apologize about that. But it's where we got Jay White came out, the man that we never saw in months. It was a Switchblade. He came back. He just went targets right at Hangman on the Page. He was like, you weren't expecting me, mate. And this is where he started hitting some right hands, went right on top of him, started beating the daylights out of Hangman. And this is where he's about to hit the Blade Runner, but this is where Hangman Page moved out of the way. This is where Jason White then it was not done yet. Like, he just completely started falling right afterwards. He jumped right over the barricade right after Hangman did. This is where he caught him right before he get up in the stairs. This is where then he started continuing to beat him right into the audience. But this is where we got. But this is where then we got the time. This is where they went right towards the commentators, right up on the side of the stage on the left. This is where he did spine busted him back first, right onto Hangman through the table, like in the timetable to death. This is where Jay White said, like, yeah, this isn't over. Like, I declare a challenge from you. And this is where he got his Bang Bang Gang teammate right back up and said, like, yeah, like, despite him not winning, like, he still he did put on a very fantastic a very fantastic impression on tonight's match. And this is where he's like, bang bang, and this is where then he did the bang bang hand gesture. Until we got Renee Paquette, and I was like, and this is where I was thinking, like, luckily it seems like that. What's his name, Hank? Like, it seems like that. Yeah, it seems like Juice Robinson. I'm not Juice Robinson. I mean, he's already been a babyface, but Jay White's finally a babyface, and he's more of a serious side rather than being a silly one. Like, if they can Renee Paquette say "Bang Bang Gang" with him, like, and yeah, he's not harassing her no more because he's like in the opposite side where her husband is in that role. But this is where we got Renee Paquette was about the interview, I believe, was the scapegoat that loved crying people rivers, Jack Perry, with his into his charcoal black grill colored bus. This is where he was holding on to his charcoal belt. This is where then Then what's his name? Kazuchika Shibata then came right in front of him and translated somebody saying something. He was like, "How about you and me will face each other for the TNT Championship at what's it called? At AEW Wrestle Dreams." This is where then we got Jack Perry. Then looked like he's about to walk away, but he ends up attacking poor Kazuchika Shibata. He's rolling right in front of his car. This is where Jack Perry's like, "Hey, by the way, I accept." Right, shot, and he pushed him right back to the ground. This is where we got Private Party started heading out to the ring, I believe. All right, with them taking on the Iron Savages, which I'm not gonna get too much into details. They just basically we did saw a couple of offense into the Iron Savages, but Private Party was eventually too much for them. This is when we saw them hit their tag team finishing maneuver. Then in Juice, they got the 1, 2, 3 out of that maneuver. But this is where it is like this is not like we're celebrating 5 years. Like we were here exactly 5 years ago. And that's where we got our career started. It seems like the night is still young. Like, so why don't we have one more match? Oh, before I get into that, I want to get into what they were looking for. This is where they show. This is where they start showing the memories from whether if it's from matches like in 2019 or even 2021, which mostly they were shown in 2020, which it featured Hangman Adam Page, Bryan Danielson, and Kenny Omega within this very fantastic match. Like on December of 2021, like with Hangman when he was world champion facing Bryan Danielson, which I believe he won, and then the same with a couple months later at AEW Grand Slam, which I believe that was their first ever Grand Slam show in 2021, but it ended in a time limit draw, which it almost did like with Bryan Danielson's match against Okada, which I'm going to give that out as a little bit of a spoiler, like a sneak peek. But this where then we got Bryan Danielson was was in backstage. He was like, okay, like I got one sentence in my head, and he's like, and that is flub John Moxley, and he did not say flub. Like they immediately censored that when he said it. This was like it don't. No matter how hard you try, to try to take me out and try to get into people's minds, like you're never going to you are never going to what's that called? You're never gonna obliterate me because I cannot be obliterated. And this is and I'm the best wrestler. This is the best place to wrestle. That's why I am challenging Okada, because me and Okada only wrestled twice, like last year at AEW Forbidden Door, and then this year at Wrestle Dreams, but in New Japan. Wrestle Kingdom in January. This is where Bryan Danielson, and that leads us. Well, but we only got one win out of each other into this trilogy series. So I thought it was gonna be a perfect. So I thought it would be a perfect night for the night celebrate AEW's 5th year. Finally have our rubber match, and then this way is like, yeah, you my arm, you ripped my titty, but you never broke my spirit. Like that's the one thing you cannot break. And he was like, we're gonna find out who's exactly the best later on the night. And yeah, we definitely saw who was the best. And let's be a little transparent here. Of a spoiler, it was not the bitch man, which I was breathing a sigh of relief, which I'm gonna get into just a moment. But yeah, this is where it was confirmed that Okada was online, but only for 20 minutes, which I don't know what's the rules onto that note. It kind of doesn't make any sense, on my opinion, but that's the rules in the championship match, I suppose, when it comes to the Continental Championship being on the line. It has that time limit on that. But this is where then we did got Private Party. This is where then they say we want to. We want to shot the AEW Tag Team against the Young Bucks. This is where then we got the Young Bucks. You really want to match it? It looked like they were about to be was about to give him the shot. This where then they were they decided to change their mind and start capping and say no, but not tonight. It's not the right place to do it. This is where. And this is where it's not in this trashy city. He's like, sorry, Pittsburgh. I was like, oh, really? You're going to insult them right in front of them, but yet you're going to apologize to them, which like that was totally 2 plus 2 equals potatoes. But this is where then this is where Jack Perry came behind and attacked the private party, but luckily Caddy Shibata was there to even the odds and did the wrestling math correctly. And this is where we got this is where it led to Christopher Daniels then came out there and tried to break things up, but it was too late because the heels were already in the ringside. This is where then the Bald Biscuit Head then made a match for Rampage this Friday, saying y'all gave me an idea for a match this Friday, Private Party you want the Street Profit, not the Street Profit, I mean Private Party y'all want the Young Bucks and Young Bucks, and Kateori Shibata, you want Jack Perry, for the TNT champion, and for the what's that called, the tag team champion. Y'all will have the match, but if something tells me that y'all should fight in a 6-man tag match first, again a 6-man. That's exactly what Christopher Daniels did. It will be Private Party and Shibata taking on Perry and the Young Bucks this Friday on AEW Rampage. And let me know down in the comment section right down below on what's your opinions on that that note. And do you think that this is the perfect place to put the match on, or do you think it was much better being on AEW AEW Collision or some other day, or even the Go Home show before Wrestle Dreams? Let me know down in the comment section right down below either way. But this is where we got the showdown between the professor and the doctor, or the doctor versus the professor, how we want to make it, with both of them being like Patrick Starr. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was the professor of women's wrestling, Serena Deeb, taking on the hometown of Pittsburgh hero herself, the dentist / wrestler, Dr. BrittBaker, DMD. And they totally did a very fantastic job onto their match, which they show that the women's division is just continuing to grow. But the fans start chanting DMD all around the arena because they were in their hometown of Pittsburgh, or Pittsburgh, how she would like to say. As well, then start working on the arm of Britt, but going for a wrist lock of her own. That's where they start advertising about the Red Cross donation of her about the damages that Hurricane Helene. Not sure so much, but this is where they start rubbing in the face of Tony Schiavone. This is where Tony Schiavone starts sarcastically. Yep. She's scouting the matches of seeing a potential challenger. Though, this is where we got what's her name? Serena Deeb start going for a triple cranking headlock on the Brit. This is where BrittBaker had enough, and she was getting tired of getting spun around a bit and getting hammerlocked and headlocked. To the point that when what's her name? When Serena Deeb didn't try to go for a headlock slam, but she successfully did that, but she didn't. She wasn't successful continuing to keep the hold on to her opponent. But BrittBaker hit her with a head scissor, into a head scissor on her, and then she got right off of her. With Serena Deeb grabbed onto her legs, she tried to hit the single-legged Boston Crab onto Britt. That's where BrittBaker managed to get to the right corner side ropes. That's where she got a rope break. Serena Deeb had no choice but to get off of the DMD. This is where then we got back up. She was like that. And that's not this is you're lucky on that round, but you're not gonna be so once we get to the second one. This is where Serena Deeb tried to go for a German suplex, but this is where BrittBaker tried elbow in the midsection, but she turned into a headlock. This is where she gets Irish whipped into the left side by Britt. This is where she ends up getting shoulder tackled by the professor. This is where then Serena then was you keep this lingering going, because this match is gonna be mine, and I'm gonna be the first one to defeat you in your first loss in hometown of Pittsburgh. But yeah, this is where to be a spoiler, that didn't really happen. But this is where she went to the top corner ropes. She was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be a triple win situation." This is where BrittBaker said, that's so." This is where then she Irish whip her right to the top corner side. This is where she swinged her around, outsmarted her with a swinging leg breaker. When she was coming to the bottom corner side, this is where she got her sitting up. This is where Britt and start walking around, start taunting her opponent. This is where she's start hitting her with plenty of forearms. But the fans will start chanting her nickname once again, like with them saying DMD, DMD, DMD repeatedly. This is where then we got. That's where the Serena Deeb to go for a chop block right on right on the Britt. That's where then she picks up the dentist. She tried to go for like a hammerlock lariat, which she successfully did. But it's where she ends up kicking out at 2.99999999999. Might as well born away from it. She was like, did she really have to kick out of that? Like it may not be the move that I always put my opponents away, but when I do use it in occasional events, like it always puts them knock them out for the 3 count at least. Is where then she then start toying with the dentist. Is where she eyes moving to the left side, start slide ducking, leapfrog until she hit the clothesline, then start doing some more heel antics to try to bring down the dentist. But once she tried to go for the hammerlock again, which she totally forgot, lightning does not strike twice unless she got the double whammy card. This is where then she tried to go for it again, tried to double whammy her anyways, but she realized she didn't have the card. BrittBaker ducks out of the way, but whatever that was left from her stamina, just when she goes to the top of the rope, she hit the sling blade, which it looked like. It almost looked like if it was about to botch, but luckily did not happen. This is where BrittBaker tried to clutch her knees so she could hit her with that fisherwoman's neck breaker. This is where, but she kicks out of it. However, this is where then we got BrittBaker putting her glove on that she got in her right pocket. She put it on her right hand, if I'm not mistaken. This is where BrittBaker's like, okay, like now it's time to lock into her teeth. This is where. But this is where she grabbed onto her legs, dragon screwed her right to the upper right side, which that looked very horrible for poor BrittBaker here. But this is where Serena Deeb to try to go for that pile driver. Oh no, it was a Baker power bomb. I'm like, what's that, Baker? No, it was just like a fallout power bomb. Let me rephrase. This is where once that didn't work, like in the count of 2 even, is where she started putting BrittBaker's right leg, which I believe that's the same one that BrittBaker's having issues with. Well, it was actually the left leg. So I tried to bend it like in the sideways, but then the back of her head, started bending like tap out. But this is where BrittBaker turned into an inside cradle, nearly got a 3 count. But this is where Serena Deeb finally got herself right back up and kicking out at 2.7 it's 6. But this is where BrittBaker super kicks her right into the face. BrittBaker hang on to the left side. Then she goes for a ripcord discus elbow. But this is where a move that something like Seth Rollins would do, but this is where we got Serena to try to go for a double underhook. This is where BrittBaker flip right out of it, elbows her in the face, and this is where she bounced right in the top corner. But she is get German suplex by by Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb just starts screaming out when she went to the top corner rope. She runs right through there, but she ends up getting super kicked by the DMD. But this is where the professor hits her with a clothesline anyway when she bounced right back on the top corner rope. I use this for her advantage, of course. Where did you try to go for? I believe was a like a detox pile driver, I believe. When she put BrittBaker arms on her back, like when she put her head between her legs. But this is where she gets him with that. What that move was called? It was the airway. I think that's called. Yeah, the airway. This is where then we got the. This is where Serena Deeb got back up. I'm thinking she do this where she hit her with the airwave. This is where both women were down. This is where BrittBaker did try to go for the lockjaw, but that got countered. But she ends up settling for, I believe, a curb stomp, was it? But once you try to go for a pinfall for that move, this is where Serena Deeb flips right up with a count of 2.1. This is where then we got Serena Deeb trying to flip her into a crucifix pin, but that ends up getting kicked out by 2.0, well, 2 even, I should say. That's where we got BrittBaker trying to turn it into lockjaw when she was in position for. That's where Serena Deeb tried to go for the single leg at Boston Crab. But that's where we got BrittBaker start kicking right into the left shoulder of Deeb and started pushing her right to the bottom left side, where she eventually bounced right off of. BrittBaker gets herself right back up, and this where she try to go for a running attack maneuver, but this is where she ends up getting stopped with Deeb's foot, and she started flipping her right over, kick her right in the gut, kick her right to the head. That's where then she goes up right up on the top rope. Well, at first, BrittBaker tried to close on her off of the apron on the left side, but it's where we got Serena Deeb going up right to the upper left side. That's where the fans start chanting DMD continuously, like because they're rooting for their favorite wrestler of the night, which is their hometown hero, which is the dentist from Britsburg, like she would call it, which is BrittBaker DMD. But this is where BrittBaker picks her up. This is where she hits another airway crash right into but this time on the top rope on the apron. This was a double whammy, which she must have found right on the top rope, which it nearly worked, which it only got her 2.999, however. This is where BrittBaker's like, you got to be kidding me. Like that should have been a 3, and I was totally agreeing. But this is where then we got But this is where I believe we got BrittBaker then hits the lockjaw onto Serena. This is where she had nowhere else to go. She started tapping away. This is where BrittBaker said, I knew this was not going to let me down. And yeah, this was the third time was a charm because I totally forgot that she tried 2 separate times, but they were unsuccessful. But luckily, this time it was this time it was successful, like better than a guaranteed, I guess. With everybody having black and yellow towels, like of the colors of BrittBaker's, like which she's like the same color as Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pirates and the Penguins, of course. And BrittBaker's like, and she must have said some about the Sunday Night Football game because she started saying like, yeah, there's gonna be plenty more of BrittBaker in Britsburg, which I assume that she's gonna be in attendance for the Steelers game when they go against the Dallas Cowboys, which I will be reviewing. If there's any mentions about her, I'll let you guys know on the SNA podcast. But this is where we got Serena Deeb attacked her from behind before she can even continue to celebrate. This is where she starts slamming her knee right into the right side of her leg and started going for the single-leg Boston Crab, like after she started hitting, like she did the Queen Amanada a few weeks ago. But speaking of the women's wrestler herself, she came out there to save BrittBaker. She just slammed down Serena Deeb and started hitting some right hands and started beating the hell out of Serena Deeb. With her saving with her throwing her out of the ring. This is where she raised BrittBaker's hands like the winner of this match. Like it is your hometown favorite wrestler, and that is Brittany Baker. I guess you could describe her as, even though that's too proper. I guess you could say calling her Brittany rather than putting the shortness on her first name. But this is where BrittBaker got the big ovation about that DMD. This is where they showed Samoa Joe taking on a Hook, which is for those that are aware, y'all already know like what exactly I would talk about right here. If I didn't had to have something to talk about Hook up next, like wink wink nudge nudge about Samoa Joe versus Hook at the beginning of this year, which that's the same month that like when Tony Khan gone at it with a particular former WWE wrestler, which he's now in the Indies called what's it called? Raj Desi. That's what he's called now these days. But it's where he gone at it with him, where Tony Khan saying like this match is more better than that match he had with Seth Rollins for the World Championship. Which he responded back saying, "Who the flub is Hook?" And he did not say flub, but you get what I'm saying. But this is where Hook was backstage, like with Renee Paquette, asking, unfortunately, his father Taz, that would normally be in commentary right now. It's like, no wonder Nigel McGuinness is there, or else we would have seen the more cooler commentator in AEW right now. But this is where then he said he was attacked in Pittsburgh, and he's been injured now, and he won't. And that was back in New York City when it happened. Do you have any reaction? What's your reaction on what happened today? And this where earlier in the day, and this where then he shot around the camera and said, you took my father away from me. And this where this was there. It is where it's like whoever did this to my family, if we starting the sugar honey iced tea with my family, whoever did this to my old man, they will answer to me, and I'm coming for you. And this is where he shouted, he's coming for them. And I was like, I hate to be the guy who attacked